We'll be starting in about 1 to 2 minutes. Thank you.
Can we start? What do you think? So, welcome to this webinar supported by Water Europe. Well, Europe, as you know, is the European Water Technology Platform. Is a multi-stakeholder platform that supports the development of the capacities of the European stakeholders of the water sector to be more competitive and be able to address the challenges of the water sector through research and innovation. The opportunity of today, this webinar, it's a collaboration between one of the Water Europe working groups. I see here Naomi Timmer, which is the working group on human capital, because beyond technologies, beyond governance, beyond research and innovation, we need to take care about the development of human capital in the water sector, not only in the water sector, but of course, the water sector needs human capital development, which can be seen and discussed from many different angles, from skills development to the capacity of creating the soft skills, I mean, in the companies, systemic change, I mean, of in our society. But human capital represent, I mean, one of the milestones, I mean, of sustainable development of our society. And on the other side, we have the Water Quality Emergency Monitoring Services, which is an initiative, a research and innovation initiative supported by the European Commission. and particularly from the Horizon 2020 framework program. And we had the opportunity to speak with Yannis. Good morning, Yannis.
Morning.
About the opportunity of creating this series of webinar, which intends to show to showcase what can be done within, I mean, the WQeMS environment, and how this can be further developed, I mean, in the view of the capitalization in the human capital development. It is just an introduction, and what is important that the intention is to create a series of webinars and similar events. But now I leave the floor to you, because I mean the time has come to explain what is this webinar about. I mean, about the contents and about the objectives and the goals that we have today. So may I invite Naomi to take the floor? Thank you.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, on behalf of the Working Group Human Capital, very much welcome to this first session of the webinar series on human capital development. And in this series, we would like to dive into not only the training capacity, train ourselves on different topics, but also on how that can happen. I will share a bit more on the end of the training itself, because I'm very happy that for this first webinar, we are able to dive into the WQeMS platform ourselves and curious what it can bring to us, to our development, and what we could learn. And happy to give the floor to Matteo to present a brief overview of this platform and what it all entails.
Okay, thank you, Naomi. Thank you. So first of all, hi to everyone. For me, it's a pleasure to be here and to present to you WQeMS project. I'm Matteo Basile. I'm working for engineering, that is the technical leader of the platform. And today I'm here also with Ioannis, that is the project leader of WQeMS, and also George Millis from Phoebe, that will present with me the platform, WQeMS. So with respect to my presentation, we would like to split the presentation in two parts. In the first part, we will see from a more theoretical point of view the platform. So we will see which are the main components of WQeMS, which is WQeMS, and which are the functionalities that could be done by using our system. And then in the second session, I will use, or better, we will use WQeMS, because WQeMS is mainly a web application. So you can use WQeMS by using your browser. And in order to do that, I will provide to you some test credentials that you can use in order to follow me in the steps that I will do. So the last thing that I would like to say before to start is that if you have some questions or doubts, please interrupt me, and then I will try to reply to your questions if I can, of course. If not, I will also indicate my email in order to reply offline to some questions that could you have. So if all is it clear, I can share my screen, the first presentation that I prepared, the theoretical presentation of the platform. Okay. Can you confirm that you are able to see the screen?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Andrea. So WQeMS platform. First of all, WQeMS means Water Quality Emergency Monitoring Service. It is a water quality emergency monitoring system that is able to monitor the water bodies, the lakes. What mean monitor the lake? We are able to monitor the lake from different point of view, from different parameters, as we will see in the next slide. But it is important to say in this slide that we are able to monitor the water bodies by using two different modalities, in a continuous monitoring and in on-demand mapping. which are the main difference between these two modalities. In the continuous monitoring, a user that would like to monitor in continuous way a water body, then he will receive data products and output from WQeMS system each day later with respect to the day on which the user do the request. So for example, the user can say to WQeMS platform, please monitor the turbidity value on the polypitous water body, for example, and then WQeMS will generate a geospatial maps each day later, starting from the day on which the user do the request. On the other hand, we have also the possibility to monitor a water body, one or more water bodies, in an on-demand way. In this monitoring, this type of monitoring, a user is able also to select a period, so a start date and an end date. In this way, he will receive only data products referred to that specific period. So for example, the user can say, please monitor the temperature of the water body starting from this start date and ending from this end date. And then WQeMS will generate geospatial maps that are referred to that specific period. These are the main difference between these two different modalities, and WQeMS is able to support both of them. So continuous monitoring and also on-demand mapping. But with the monitoring of the water body, WQeMS means that we are able to monitor the water body from different points of view by using different parameters. And we will see this in the next slide, this one. This is a chart that you can find also in the WQeMS website. And in this chart are summarized which are the main components, which are the main service line of the system, and so on. First of all, as you can see here on the top of this image, we take satellite image. We take as input satellite image from Copernicus on the Dias. Why we do that? WQeMS is not a system that monitor a water body by using sensors. So you are not. There is no need to go to the water body that you would like to monitor and install sensors and so on. But there are a lot of machine learning algorithms that are able to estimate one or more parameters starting from satellite image. So take as input the satellite image, WQeMS applies some machine learning algorithms, and then it estimates some parameters such as the turbidity value of the water body and so on. In order to explain which parameters WQeMS is able to calculate, we pass to these four service lines: the water quality future changes, the bloom event detection, the land water transition zone change detection, and the extreme event detection. These are called service lines, and each service line can monitor one or more parameters that we also call it subservice. For example, the water quality future change is a service line that is able to monitor 5 parameters: the turbidity value of the water body. So take as input a satellite image of a specific water body, let's say polypitous, for example, then the parameter turbidity is calculated over this lake. It means that geospatial maps is provided as output to the stakeholder, to the user, in which each pixel, each point of these geospatial maps indicate the value of turbidity in that specific point of the lake. And this is the same also for other parameters that are part of water quality future changes: the chlorophyll A value, the sea surface temperature, calorie dissolved matter, and also the Secchi disk depth. These are the 5 parameters that we are able to estimate on the water body by using the water quality future changes service lines. Then we have also the bloom events detection. That is a service line that is able to calculate one parameter, that is the probability of an alga bloom in a specific point of the water body. So again, take as input a satellite image. The bloom events detection provides as output the geospatial maps in which each pixel can be valued as 0, 1, 2, or 3. And these classes are related to the probability in for which in that specific point there could be a bloom event in the lake. Then we have the land water transition zone. This service is a little bit different with respect to the previous one, because this is a service that is composed by two parameters, or two subservices is the same, that are called two dates and hydro period. Why is different with respect to the other service lines? Because land water transition zone, in order to work, need as input a period specified by the user. And when I explain to you the parameter, you will understand why this. Land water transition zone, as I said, is composed by two dates parameters and hydro period parameters. Two dates take as input two satellite images, not only one this time. One in the start date, let's say, and the other one in the end date. Then two dates is able to calculate for each point of the water body if that specific point was land in the start date and it is still land in the end date, or if this specific point was water in the start date and it is still water in the end date, or if the pixel or the point of the water body have a transaction between this period. So if it was land in the start date and now it is water, or vice versa. So this is why this service line takes as input a period, a start date, and also an end date. The other parameter that is able to calculate the land water transition zone is called hydro period. Again, it takes as input a period, so a start date and end date, and it is able to provide to the stakeholder a geospatial maps in which each pixel, each point of water body is valued with a number of days that represent the total number of days during which that specific point, that specific pixel was flooded, was inundated during this period. So we have these two different modalities, these two different parameters for land water transition zone. Finally, we have the last service line, that is the extreme event detection. Here we have three parameters: muddy water, flood, and oil spill detection. For example, the oil spill detection takes as input a satellite image and is able to provide to the user a geospatial maps in which each pixel, each point of the water body can be valued as 0 or 1. 0 means that in that specific point, no oil spill have detected, starting from the satellite image. 1 means that a possible oil spill occurred in that specific point of the lake. The same for the flood, and the same also for the muddy water. So the extreme event detection is composed by three parameters that I explain to you now. But WQeMS is not only able to elaborate satellite image, it's also able to elaborate data coming from the people. With what means this? We have here the crowdsourcing alerts. This module is able to detect some, let's say, contamination event that could occur in a specific place, and is able to do that by collecting data from the people, from the citizen. And this is done in two different ways, in a direct ways and also in indirect ways. In the direct ways, we have a mobile app that is this one, the crowdsourcing mobile app, that is offered to the end user, to the citizen, in order to be able to send contamination event. So let's say, for example, a user can use the crowdsourcing mobile app offered by WQeMS system in order to send the contamination event. That could be, for example, that the water in his home is yellow, or some other type of contamination event related to the water, for example, to uncommon turbidity, water quality, and so on. But the crowdsourcing alerts is not only able to collect this type of alerts directly from the user, so by using the mobile app, is also able to detect these alerts, starting from the tweets that the user publish on Twitter. Let's say, for example, the crowdsourcing alerts detect that in a specific place there are a lot of tweets, that are referred that have a keywords that is water quality or wastewater or bad water and so on. Then this module is able that some event, some contamination event is occurred in this place. and is able to understand where this contamination event is occurred, starting from the TXT of the tweets, and also is able to understand which type of contamination event is occurred. So, for example, water quality, water extent, or uncommon turbidity, and so on. So we have these two types of alerts, the one coming directly from the citizen by using the mobile app, and the one coming indirectly from the citizen by analyzing the tweets that they publish on the social network. At the top of this service, we built some other service that could be used by the stakeholders in order to interact with our system, with WQeMS. As I said before, we have the crowdsourcing mobile app. By using this, a user is able to send the contamination event to our platform, to WQeMS. Then we have the crowdsourcing alerts dashboard. The crowdsourcing alert dashboard is based on the crowdsourcing alerts and is able to offer to the stakeholder a map on which a user can see all the alerts, the one coming from the mobile app and the one coming from Twitter, that are detected until now. So it is a dashboard that I will show to you later in the demo live, that a user can use in order to visualize the alerts coming from the crowdsourcing alerts. Then we have the catalog. A catalog is an informational point of the system. So by using the catalog, a stakeholder, a user, can visualize which are the data products generated until now, on which water body, for which parameters, and so on. And it can read the metadata associated to the data products. So, for example, who has generated these data products, when, or which are the place, which are the extent of the area to which this data product refers, and so on. So it is an informational point of the system. Then we have a map and data navigator, because as I said before, WQeMS generates geospatial maps. For technical, generates the GeoTIFF image that could be visualized only if a user have a GIS. So a user can visualize these data products by using GIS installing on his PC, his computer, or if he don't have one GIS, he can use the Map and Data Navigator. What is the Map and Data Navigator? It is a web application, WebGIS application, in which the user can visualize on the map the data products generated by the 4 service lines that I mentioned before. And he can visualize a chart, he can apply style on these data products, and so on. But we will see this in the live demo, because I will show to you also the Map and Data Navigator component. Then we have the water utility DSS, because WQeMS is not only utilizable by an end user, by using some user interface, for example, and so on, but you can interact with WQeMS also by using API, standard API, for example, or GC protocol, and so on. So in this way, we offer the possibility to the end user also to interact with our system by using API, so by using their DSS, with not the necessary to use WQeMS by using the user interface, so by using, for example, the map and data or the catalog and so on. Finally, we have the email, because as we will see in the live demo, a user can also configure an alert. For example, a user can say, please, WQeMS, notify me when the value of turbidity is greater than a threshold, and then the system will use the email in order to notify the user that this event occurred. But the email are also used by our platform to send the report, as we will see later in the live demo. Finally, we have the user training module that could be used by a user in order to train it on the platform, in order to understand how he can use the platform, the terminology used by the platform, and so on. Okay, now we can start with a brief overview of each component that I mentioned before. The catalog, as I said before, this is an informational point of the system. So by using the catalog, a user can visualize which data products are generated until now, for which water body and for which service. Then we have the Map and Data Navigator. As I said, this is a tool that enables the user to visualize the generated data products on a map. And the user can apply a style, can do some chart, as you can see here. But this thing, we will see this thing in the live demo. Then we have also different type of access. We don't have only the Map and Data Navigator to visualize the data products, because let's say that the user have already on this computer a GIS in order to visualize the data products, and then he would like only to access to the GeoTIFF image, so to the data product. We have a file server in order to do that. So a user can download directly the generated TIFF, the generated metadata, and so on by using our file server. Not only file server HTTP, but also HTTPS directory. By using this protocol, a user can also access to our data products in order to download them, in order to integrate them in their, let's say, GIS or also DSS and so on. Then we have the crowdsourcing mobile app that, as I said before, it is a mobile app used by the user in order to send alerts to our system, not alerts, but contamination event, let's say, in order to send this event to our system. And in order to visualize them, we have the crowdsourcing dashboard. This is a preview of the crowdsourcing dashboard that we will see in the live demo. As you will see here, we have a map, and on top of this map, there are all the alerts that arrived to the system until this moment. But we don't have only the crowdsourcing alerts. As I said before, we have only the alerts that a user can configure. As in this case, the user would like to be notified if the value of turbidity is greater than 52. And here you can see an example of email that he received for this contamination event. But again, here we will see this in the live demo. How a user can configure the alert. He can configure the alert by specifying some rules, as in this case, for example, a threshold of 14 on the turbidity value, and in particular on the mean spatial value of turbidity for the Karlsfeld water body. So a user can add one or more rules and one or more notification methods, because the system is not only able to notify the user by using an email, but also is able to notify the user by using the HTTP post request. So when the contamination event occurred, then WQeMS will send an HTTP post request to an endpoint specified by the user. Here you can see also the report generators. As I said before, the email are not only used to send alerts, but are also used to send report to the user. And the user can ask WQeMS to generate a report that is a PDF document for a specific water body for one or more parameters and by specifying a period. So I would like to receive a report from this period indicating start date and end date, and for that specific water body for these parameters. And then the user should also indicate the email on which he would like to receive this report. And then WQeMS in a few seconds will generate this report and will send this report to the user, to the email of the user. We have also the service request. So let's say that the user opened the catalog and visualized that an area of interest, the water body, is not covered yet by WQeMS. And then he can do a new service request by indicate the area of interest, the service line, the parameters that he would like to monitor, the method of monitoring. As I said before, a user can decide to monitor a water body in a continuous way, but also in on-demand way. So he can specify also the method of monitoring to our platform. And then WQeMS is able to generate these data products and to send them to the user in order to be visualized and so on. Finally, we can integrate also with DSS. As I said before, we expose some standard APIs, some protect standard APIs in order to get the data products generated by the user. And the user can be done by using different protocols, different standard, for example, HTTP protocol, and in particular, OGC Web Service Standard, for example, WQeMS or WQeMS, but also by using other protocol, the HTTPS access, and also the file server that is based on HTTP. Okay, I finished the theoretical introduction of the system. I don't know if you have some questions until now, or if you prefer to skip to the practical session.
I don't see anything written in the chat.
Okay.
So I don't see hands raised.
Okay, yeah, now we have do an overview of the platform, but now with the live demo, more things will be more clear, and we will see these components we will use these components. So let's share the other presentation. Okay. Can you confirm that now you are able to see the other presentation, please?
This is
Yes,
well
we
visible.
can.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So we can start with the practical session. So now we will use WQeMS. And in order to do that, we prepared a test account that you can use in order to test the application if you want. And in a few moments, we'll explain to you how you can access to the platform. But if you can, please keep note of these credentials. I don't know if I can also share it in a chat. Just a moment.
Yeah, that would help for sure. Thank you.
Yeah. So all of you, did you receive the credentials, right?
Yes, it's
Yes.
for everyone.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you. So you can use this test credential in order to use with me the application, the WQeMS, if you want, of course. And yeah, also this presentation without the credential could download it directly in the portal of WQeMS. I will explain how in a few moments. But just to say that here in this presentation, you can find a guide of the platform. So how to use the platform in each step. For example, here, how to use the catalog, here, how to use the web portal, and so on, how to do a new service request. So there are a lot of tutorials that you can use in order to test the platform. I will not go through these slides since I will do this in a live demo. So I will use the platform and I will explain to you how to use the platform. So let's share this time WQeMS. And it is here. Please confirm that you are able to see WQeMS, the portal.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Ioannis. So let's start with WQeMS system with the live demo. And the main access page to the WQeMS system is the web portal. The web portal is reachable to this URL. I copy and send to you again in chat this URL. So you can use this URL to access to the main page of WQeMS. Why this is the main page? Because by using this web portal, you can reach all the other components that I mentioned before. For example, the crowdsourcing dashboard, the map and data navigator, the request service page, the report generator, and so on. So all the components are englobated here in the portal. The structure of the portal is as follows. Here there is a description of the project of WQeMS system. Here are the two different modalities that I explained to you before, the continuous monitoring and also the on-demand mapping. The same picture that I showed to you before with the components of with the software components of WQeMS system and also with the service lines. Then we have here a video of the platform. So here we explain how to use the platform, which are the main functionalities of the platform, and so on. So all things that we will see during this live demo, you can find them again in this video. Then we have here 3 useful links. The survey, as my colleague George Millis will explain to you later, we have also a survey that we invite to you to fill in, to respond to this survey in order to help us to improve WQeMS and so on. But George will explain to you later better this survey. Then we have the user guide. As I said before, if you click in here, a PDF, a guide will downloaded. So you can use this guide in order to understand which are the steps that you need to do in order to use the functionalities of our platform. And are the same of the presentations that I showed to you before, but without the credentials. For the credentials, you can use the one that I sent to you via chat. And then also the Honda showcase in order to redirect to the Honda website and to read more about Honda. If I go down, we have the service components. These are the 4 service lines that I showed to you before. And for each service line, we have a read more button. If a user click on this read more button, you can see here an informational page is opened. And here a user can read the description of this service line, in this case, water quality, the service results, for example, here, the gain for the user, and also the service specification, such as the temporal resolution, which are the input data for in order to work this service line, which are the output data products provided by this service line, and so on. So you can read the service specification of, in this case, water quality, but also of other service lines that I showed to you before. If here you can see the same parameters that I explained to you before, a description of each parameters, the turbidity value, for example, and so on. And if I go down, you can see also some screenshot about the service line. So this is a preview on which data products we expect to receive from this service line, from the water quality service line. And as I said, we can do the same for the other service line. For example, the land water here, you can see again the service description, the service results, the gain for the user, and the service specification, with again the temporal resolution, the input data, the parameters. In this case, you see 2 dates that I explained to you before, but also a draw period parameter. And again, here some screenshot on what is a preview of the data products generated by this service line. I will do not open other service lines, but it's the same also from the Bloom event and extreme event detection service lines. If I go down, you can see the tools and functionalities that are the components built on top of these service lines in order to interact with WQeMS. So the Map and Data Navigator that I explained to you before, catalog, the data access, that is a section that summarizes the method through which a user can access to the data generated by WQeMS. The crowdsourcing mobile app that I explained to you before, the crowdsourcing dashboard, the reports, so how the user can do a report request for a specific water body in a specific period, the alerts, and also the training. I would like to show to you that for each component of this, you can click again or read more, for example, the Map and Data Navigator, and you can find a description of the component, so why the user should use this component, some screenshot, and then a button that redirects you directly to the Map and Data Navigator, to the specific component. If I go back, you can see the description for all the tools. For the catalog, for example, as you can see, the description of the component and some screenshot. but also from, for example, the crowdsourcing dashboard here. You can see the description of the crowdsourcing dashboard and also some screenshot of the application and the link that redirect you directly to the crowdsourcing dashboard. So this is how the portal of WQeMS is structured, at least the homepage of the portal of WQeMS. Now let's use one component and we start from the catalog. So I click here, read more. As I said before, the catalog is the components that could be used by the user in order to, for example, visualize the metadata associated to the data products generated until now by our platform, by WQeMS. So here there is the description, and here there is some screenshot of the components. And then I click here that redirect me to the catalog of WQeMS. This is the catalog. For technical information, this is a John Network application. You can see here some entities of the catalog, for example, the extreme event flood for the water body Laguna. It means that in the Laguna water body, we applied yet this subservice, these flood parameters on that specific water body. Again, here for, I don't know, there are some water body here and also some other service and water transitions on hydro period on the Laguna water body, or water quality service, in particular chlorophyll A parameter on the Julio water body, that is a Spanish water body, and so on. So all the entities are here means that we already monitored this parameter on that specific water body. But if a user search for a specific parameter for a specific water body, he can use this search box. Here I can say, for example, let's say that I'm interested to the land water transition zone for the Polypitos. As you said here, the catalog suggests me some entities based on the keywords that are inserted in these search box. And you can see here that the two dates for the Polypitos water body appears on this screen. It means that we already monitored the two dates parameter on the Polypitos water body. If I click on this and then search button, you can see that the catalog show me the entities on which this specific service on that specific water body refers, and I can open this entity. When I open this entity, what the user is able to read. Here a description of the land water transition zone, and in particular on the land water transition zone 2 dates parameter. So a description of the service, the satellite that are used by this service, and so on. Here a preview of the data products. So it is a PNG image on which there is a preview on what a user can expect from this data product. The spatial extent of the area, you can see here the area covered by this service, or better, covered by this service applied on the Polypitos water body. In fact, you can see here, this is the Polypitos water body, the Polypitos lake. If I go down, I can read some other metadata, such as some keywords here, some, I don't know, the extent, but in a statistical way. In this case, you can see the numeric data referred to the extent of the Polypitos water body, of the monitored area in this case, but also some other information, the distributor, that in this case it is of course WQeMS, the point of contact, and also the processor of the image. So who has generated the data product, in this case the set, and also who processed this data product, that in this case is CREAF, since it provides the map and data navigator that we will see later. The metadata language, so we can see a lot of metadata, a lot of information about the generated data products for the Polypitos water body, and in particular for the land water transition zone 2 dates parameter. We can also download this metadata in different format, XML, for example. You can see the metadata is open in XML format, and you can see that it follows a standard. In this case, is the ISO standard, but we can download also in a zip or in PDF and so on. you can see also here two links. What are these two links? As I said before, there are different methods to access to the data products. So in this case, we are see the metadata associated to the data product. But in order to access to the real data products, so to the GeoTIFF, for example, generated by these service lines about the Polypidos water body, we should go to other components that in this case could be the file server that I showed to you before, in which the user can download directly the data products generated by this service line in a different dates, because we can have one or more data products referred to the Polypidos lake, and in particular to the toDates parameter, because each data product is referred to a specific period, to a specific date. And we can access to these data products by using the file server. Here we have two links that redirect you to the file server of WQeMS. But why two links? We have two types of file server in WQeMS. The first one is protect. It means that can access only by the authenticated user. The second one is open. In the second one can access also anonymous user. It's not needed to log it in into the system to visualize these data products. Of course, it is easy to understand that in the open directory, there are less data products with respect to the protect directory. And here you can reach both file server, the open one, that is this one, and also the protect one, that is this other one, the protect directory. I don't open the link now because we will see the file server later, but only to say that the file server could be reachable also by using these links that you can find on the catalog of WQeMS. So this is the catalog, an informational point on which the user can visualize the metadata about the data products. Now I will return to the portal, into the home page of the portal. I can click on this logo and you can see the page, the portal redirect me to the home page. Okay, now after the user see the catalog, he would like to do a service request to our platform. He would like, for example, to access to the data products generated for the Polypidos lake, for land water transition zone toDates, for example, and so on. How a user can do that? If I go down here, you can see that there is a button, request a service. By clicking this button, the platform asks me for the login. Why? Because now I access to a protect section of the portal. Because by using this section, a user will be able to do a service request to our platform. So we'll be able to monitor a water body, for example, Polypidos, Jaretta, and so on, or also a new water bodies of interest. So we need to log it in into the system in order to access to this component. I click login. I will use the same credentials that I provided to you before via chat. And you can see this is the service request page of WQeMS. There is a map. And then if I go down, there is an informational point because we have also TACA system that you can use in order to monitor Finland water bodies. So here you can use this TACA plus service in order to monitor Finland lake, for example. But if you go down here, you can see the first input box that the user should indicate in order to start a new monitoring request. A user can monitor a water body in two different ways, by select a water bodies by a predefined list. If I click here, you can see a list of water bodies that a user can monitor. For example, if I click on the Polypidos, as you can see, the map automatically updates with the shapefile with the polygon of the Polypidos water body. I can select also, let's say, Jaretta here, and you can see the Jaretta water body, but also Ebenstock and so on. So this list is populated with the water body that user monitored before. So since I use the test credential account, this account in the past have already done some monitoring requests to the platform, and then he can find here the water body that he monitored until now. by using our system. But if the user would like to monitor a new area of interest that is not present in this list, then the user can use the second way to monitor a water body, the upload of a file. Which type of file? WQeMS is able to monitor area of interest starting from KMZ file, KML, or shapefile in a zip format. I will show to you now. If I click on choose file, WQeMS asks me to indicate which type, the shapefile that I would like to upload to this one. Let's find the shapefile I could have here. And here, let's say that I click now the marathon lake in KML format. If I click and open the file, you can see that the map automatically updates with this new area of interest from the user with the polygon of the area. I can monitor, of course, one or more water bodies. For example, if here I select a shapefile, in this case, that contains 2 polygons, you can see that the map automatically updates with the 2 polygons, and then the request is done on 2 water bodies, not only one. Okay, these are the 2 modalities that the user can use in order to monitor a water body of interest, an area of interest. Let's update our page now because I would like to select one of the previous one, let's say Polypitos Lake. And then the user can go down and select the parameters that he would like to monitor on that specific water body. You can see here the 4 service lines that I explained to you before, the water quality, the land water transition zone, the bloom events, and also the extreme event detection. For each of these service lines, we have the parameters monitored by these service lines, in this case, turbidity, chlorophyll A, and so on. So the same parameters that I explained to you before. And for each parameter, a user can decide to monitor this specific parameter in a continuous way or in on-demand mapping, for example. So a user can select for each parameter which type of monitor he would like to apply on this specific water body for that specific parameter. And of course, I can show to you that if I select, for example, 2 days service, and as I said before, the land water is the only one that works only in an on-demand mapping for technical reason, because in order to work 2 days, need as input a start date and an end date. So if I activate here on-demand request, you can see that the platform invites the user to select a start date and also an end date that he would like to use in order to monitor Polypitos water body for that specific parameter. Let's say that I would like to monitor for October, I don't know, 19, and the user should select also the end date. Let's say again 2021. October and I don't know, 25, for example. Then the user only for land water transition zone could select the data from which he would like to monitor this specific parameter. So multispectral data, multispectral plus radar data, or radar data. And here in an informational button, a user can read when it's better to select this one, when this one, and when also this other one. Let's say that for now, I would like to monitor by using multispectral data. And then if I finish my service request, but I can add more parameters. Let's say that I would like to add also muddy water on demand, and again, start date and date because I select on demand. So let's say here 2021, let's say November this time, for November, and as end date, we put 2021 again, November, and let's say 10. And then if the user finishes to configure his service request, as in this case, he can click on this button, Submit Request. Let's wait a couple of seconds for the response from the server. Okay, as you can see here, the platform said to me that the request is submitted. So the request now is sent to the WQeMS for the elaboration. But what means the elaboration of the request? First of all, after the request, the user is redirected to this page in which there are the list of the service requests that the user do until now, in the past. And as you can see, there is also the one that I do in the in the 29th day, that is today. And we have here a status that is yellow or green. Here, there is a description on this status, because when the user do the service request, this request is not directly elaborated by our platform, but it is needed that an admin accept or reject the request that the user done now. For example, an admin can reject the request because the user upload the shapefile that doesn't contain a polygon with the water body. So in this case, it is an invalid request, an invalid service request, and then the admin reject this service request. For the other, the admin can decide to accept or reject this service request. So for this reason, we have here the yellow color, because an admin hasn't yet elaborate this request. But if I click here, we can see the details about the service request, so the area of interest that the user select when he do the service request, in this case, the Polypitos water body. And by clicking the details button, you can see the details about this service request. So here, let's wait a couple of seconds in order to load the page. So here we will see a map on which you can see the area of interest that the user select when he do the request, and also the parameters that he would like to monitor. Okay, here you can see the Polypitos, because we select Polypitos when we do the service request, and also the parameters that we select in the service request page. With this type of request, if you remember, we select the on-demand request for both, and the start date and the end date. You can see that there is this column accepted. This is related to the elaborated that I explained to you before. Until an admin accept or reject this service request, this column will be null. So you can see here that we have no value here in accepted column. Okay, now I will log in as an administrator and I accept the request. So log out here, log in again. Now I use a credential, an admin credential, and you can see that here we have the manage service request now that a normal user doesn't have. If you can try. You don't have this voice on the menu. So I can click here. Let's wait a couple of seconds. Here there is the pending service request. What are the pending service requests? Are the requests done until now by all the users of WQeMS that are in evaluation state. So there is the need for an admin to go here and to accept or reject this service request. And as you can see, we can find also our service request, the service request that I do now, for example. I see that there are also other service requests here. Maybe some of you will use the platform. It's a pleasure. And you can click on Manage. Let's wait a couple of seconds. You can see here the Polypitos water body, because we do the request only on the Polypitos water body. But if I select one or more water bodies, the admin will see here the list of the water bodies involved in the service request. I click on Manage. The admin can click on Manage, of course. And then let's wait again a couple of seconds. You can see the details of the service request, or the area of interest that the user select when he do the service request, and here the service that the user indicates that he would like to monitor. You can see here the land water in on-demand request and the muddy water. Here, by using this checkbox, the admin can accept or reject the service request. If I leave this blank and click on confirm, it means that I reject this service request, in particular, this parameter on this service request. But for now, let's accept both of them and click on confirm. Are you sure? Yes. Let's wait a couple of seconds again. Okay, success. So now the admin accept the service request. The work of the admin is not finished yet, because after the accepting of the service request, the admin needs also to set as elaborated the service request. Because, okay, the admin said, I decide I would like to accept the service request. He go to the portal to accept the service request, and then he click on set request as elaborated. Starting from now, the request is sent to the processing chain or to the module that are able to elaborate the satellite image and provide the data products. So I click here. Are you sure? Yes. Let's wait again a couple of seconds. So now WQeMS is sending this service request to the processing, to the service lines in order to elaborate the satellite image. Okay, and now if I return to the test WQeMS user here, and I go again in the list of the service requests, there is another method to access to this list by clicking here and by clicking this button, requested service. If I click here and wait again a couple of seconds, I returned now in the previous page, the requested service page, in which the user can visualize all the service requests that he do until now. And we will see that now the request is evaluated. It's not yet yellow, but now it's green. And now when the page is loading, you can see this. Okay, you can see that now it's green because we accept this, we evaluate this request. And also, if I click on the details button, you can see that now the accepted column is yes, is green, because we accept both of the requests. Let's wait a couple of seconds. Is it loading now? Okay, now you can see that the accepted column is green because we accept both the requests. And we can access to these data products, to the generated data products, by clicking this button. Finally, if you remember the file server that I showed to you before, now we can finally open this file server. I click here, and you can see that WQeMS redirect me to the file server page. And you can see that here we can find the generated data products that we generated now. These data products, we can find the different files for each data product. Now I will explain to you which are these files. First of all, we have the TIFF image, that is the geospatial maps, the real data product provided by the processing chain. So you can click here and download the data product and import it into GIS, for example, QGIS and so on. We have also an XML file that is the metadata associated to that specific data product. I can open it. You can see the metadata in the ISO format, with some informations, for example, the URL through which you can reach the TIFF image, but also, I don't know, the extent of the area again, the period to which this GeoTIFF is valid, and other metadata informations about this specific data product. I come back. You can see also a PNG image. If I open this PNG, this is a preview of the generated data products with a style applied on this data product. You can see here that the color blue, light blue, means that this pixel was water in the start date and is still water in the end date that we specified when we do the request. And also the pixel that are passed from water to land, this one, you can see here the legend, and also the pixel that, that you can find here, that are passed from land to water. So this is a preview, but without a maps as background. We will see that we can use the map and data to visualize these data products on the map. if I go down, you can see also the other type of file, the other type that is an XML file. This XML, if I click here, it downloads me a file, an Excel file, sorry. And in this Excel file, you can find some statistical value. For example, the mean area that is passed from land to water, of the water bodies, and so on. So some statistical values that could be useful in order to keep a fast vision of the situation about this specific water body in that specific period with respect to the today's polypitos parameter. So now we see how to access this file by using the file server, but a user would like to see these generated data products on the map, not only on a file server. And in order to do that, as I said before, a user can use the map and data navigator. I come back to the portal here, and in particular to the home page of the portal again. I go down, and finally I click on the map and data navigator component. I click here. You can see again the description of the component, the screenshot of the components, and then the button that redirect me directly to the map and data navigator. I would like to open this one because it is interesting to see that the login is the same, and also the data products loaded are the one that the user have the permission to see. So an administrator, when accept the request, not only trigger the processing chain, but also automatically give the permission to access to these data products to the user that do the request. And I would like to say here this one, I share again. Now I open an incognito, I don't know, an anonymous tab of Chrome, so I'm not logged into the system, and I open the map and data navigator. You can open map and data by click the button that I showed to you before. And here you can see that he asked me for the login. The login is the same, so the user can log in with the same credentials. And you can see here, map and data navigator load me all the layers that this user, this test user, is able to see, as the permissions to see. I can go directly to the Polypitos lake by clicking this button, and I select Polypitos here. Let's wait a couple of seconds for loading. You can see that the map open on the Polypitos water body, and on the left, the green layer are the layers that are visible on that specific place. Of course, all the layers that are referred to the Polypitos water body. This one, the turbidity, the chlorophyll, and so on. Let's click the land water transition zone in order to visualize the data product generated just a few moments ago. If I click here, so I enable the visualization of this data product on map, you can see that the data product apply on map, appear on the map. You can pass on the mouse, and if you look here, when I pass on the mouse, you can see the legend. So this pixel was water in the start date, and it is still water in the end date, but this one have a transition, water to land. This other one have a transition, land to water, if I can go to the mouse. Okay, but you understand now. So you can also select a period interest here. You can click on this button, and you can see there is the request that I do before for the October period, but we have other data products generated until now for the today's parameters for the Polypitos water body. I can change, of course, the visualization by clicking here, and then the map automatically update with this new period. But I can also change the style. For example, by clicking on the layer and clicking on edit style, you can select from the predefined style, other style to visualize in another color the data products. For example, here, you can see that the color changed, and now the orange pixel means that the pixel was water in start date, and it is still water in the end date. The green one means that the pixel had a transition from water to land. What I can done also by using the map and data navigator to generate the pie chart. If I click here, you can see that the map and data navigator generate for me some pie chart that summarize the situation of the water body with respect to that specific period on the Polypitos water body for the 2 days parameters. You can see here you can see here the area that was water in the start date and is still water in the end date. The area in square kilometers that is passed from water to land in the start date with respect to the end date, and the area that is passed from land to water from the start date with respect to the end date. So I can generate also other here, for example, let's say that I would like to visualize also the turbidity polypitos here. You can see that now I visualize on the polypitos the turbidity data products. So if I pass on with the mouse on top of this layer, you can see on the left also the quantity of turbidity value in each specific point of the pixel. And I can also create some chart about this parameter. In this case, we can generate histogram chart. And I can compare these two charts, for example, and so on. In this case, we have the histogram chart of the turbidity value for the polypitos water body for that specific date. And yeah, that's all for the chart of the map and data. The map and data offers a lot of additional functionalities. We don't have time to explain to you all of them, but you can play with this application and explore which functionality can offer this application. For example, another important functionality is the feedback. By clicking here, a user can add feedback about this specific water body. Maybe you don't see now the tab, but now the WQeMS opened me a tab through which a user can send a feedback about that specific layer. And other type of functionalities that the user can do. For example, can download directly the metadata. That is the same metadata that I showed you before. Can other type of functionalities that you can find here. You can play with this map and data and explore these functionalities. But now let's return to the portal. I share again. Okay, here. Sorry, you can confirm me that now you can see again the portal, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you, Ioannis. Thank you. So you can reach the Map and Data Navigator by clicking this button. Go to Map and Data Navigator here. Okay, now I will return to the home page of WQeMS portal. So we see how a user can do the service request. We see how the user can access to the catalog of the WQeMS. And we see how the user can access to the data products by using the file server and by using the Map and Data Navigator. Now we will see the crowdsourcing alerts. So as I said before, WQeMS offers also a mobile application through which a user can send the alerts, the contamination events to our system. And you can reach this mobile application for here. Of course, I cannot show to you this mobile application now in a live demo because I don't have an Android mobile phone. And this is only available for the Android mobile phone. But here I have a video that I can show to you now. Let's open it and I can share it now. Okay, you can see the video right now.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you.
But there is no noise.
Yeah, it's a video without sound. I will explain the usage of the mobile application. You can see here, this is the mobile application. It's available in different language here. That is the French, the English, Italian, and so on. And now you can see that the language changes here. You can read more about the mobile application, about the website of the application, and so on. And this is the page through which a user can send a contamination event to our platform. So first of all, the user should select the category. You can see here that user can select water quality, water extent, and so on. The subcategory of the contamination event, the description of the contamination event, so a textual description that the user can insert inside this notification event. The water coming out of my tap today was dirty. And then the location that could be inserted manually by the user, or a user can also use the current position, his current position, of course. You can see here the map, or a user can search about a specific place. You can see here. And now, okay, he submitted the location, the date and the time is the current one, and the user can also attach an image to this notification event. Now the user select the image and click on submit. And then the alert is sent to our platform, to WQeMS Platform. We see now how the user, by using this simple mobile application, can send alerts, can send contamination events to our system. Now let's return to the portal again. Is here. I return to the home page, to the portal, and now we will see how a user can visualize the alerts.
Matteo,
Yes, Ioannis, please.
we have a hand raised from Moises. Should
Okay,
we get the question now or later?
Maybe let's finish this part on the crowdsourcing and then
Okay, great.
if you want, okay, if you agree, of course. Okay, so now the user sent the contamination event to our platform, and then by using the crowdsourcing dashboard that is accessible here, by clicking this button, you can visualize all the contamination events sent by the user until now. You can see here the mobile alerts that are the ones sent by the user by using the mobile application. Here we can select a period, for example, let's say last 6 months. And you can see here the alerts that arrived for this period in this place. You can see the image that the user uploaded, the description, and so on. We can also filter the alerts by the event type and also by the language. But as I said before, we don't have only alerts sent directly by the user. We also have alerts detected by Twitter, so by the tweets published by the user. If I activate this one, I go down, let's say here, you can see that these one are Twitter alerts. So alerts detected from the tweets of the citizen. And you can see why this alert is detected with all the tweets, with the TXT of the tweets that could indicate a contamination event that is occurring, in this place, in this zone. We have also the CTOps alerts. This is an application that could be used by the Finland citizen in order to send contamination event. If I activate this, you can see here the Finland contamination event again with the description and so on. So this is the crowdsourcing dashboard, the dashboard through which a stakeholder can visualize the contamination events that arrived to the system until now. Okay, we have only to present the alerts configuration and the report, then we finish this presentation. I don't know if you have some questions now. Ioannis mentioned the question before.
Could Moises speak?
Okay, yeah.
Moises, would you like to raise the question?
Please. Or if I can also open the chat if you want.
No, it's not in the chat. There is a hand raised. But anyway, we don't hear anything. So please continue. And we will get questions also when you finish.
Perfect.
I can, because he raised the question also by the stream in LinkedIn. So at least if he's not able to speak up now, I can try to see if I can bridge the gap. Because he's asking two things. If the system can detect mercury and heavy metals contaminations.
Okay. If the system is able to detect this type of contamination, you ask me, yes. Right? Okay.
Yes, that's one of his questions.
Okay. The contamination event, thank you for the question, first of all. The contamination event that could be detected by the system are from different categories that are water quality, water extent, uncommon turbidity, and other categories. So I can't find the categories that you mentioned before.
Can I reply?
Yeah, please join, Ioannis.
So the system is not designed to detect mercury and heavy metals. So the things that we're detecting are related with turbidity, chlorophyll A, disk depth, and surface. So no, but not heavy metals and mercury. So this is the reply. We think of if these are detectable from space, because whatever we detect has to be detected from spaceborne or airborne imagery. And there was also another person, Naomi, from Moises. I don't know what he or she are saying.
Moises also raised another question via LinkedIn. There is another I will quote him. There is another problem that worries us a lot, which is the waste brine from the desalination plants that throw it back into the sea, creating an increased salinity in the sea. Can the system detect the areas where salinity increased in the sea?
Well, this system is designed, and perhaps we were not clear at the beginning because we didn't do an introduction. So the system is designed for water utilities, especially for monitoring open surface water reservoirs that are used, they are inland, and they are used from water utilities to produce drinking water. So we have not tested or used this system in the sea. So the reply is it might be possible if the concentrations are relevant to be detected from space, but we have not tried it because the system is directed for the water utilities. The system to apply for rivers, there is a different dynamic there in the rivers. So we have flowing water. In relation with the land water transition zone detection, we are working there. The problem that we face still is that satellite imagery is received every 5 days, let's say. So if the pixels that are directed with the river can change very fast, especially the border ones, which could be flooded a little bit with water, then they can dry up and so on, or sediments can appear. So in such marginal pixels, the system might have issues for the land water detection. If the changes are longer than some days, then the system can work in rivers. On top of that, we have to consider that rivers have a specific width. So we have a pixel of 10 meters wide. So if we don't have 1 or 2 pixels within, then the boundary of accuracy is limiting us. On top of that, we can use very high resolution imagery, but this has to be paid from the user. In relation with the other material, with the water quality features and so on, and floods and oil spills and so on, I assume that we can work on them. It's tested not in a big extent in rivers, but the service as we generated it can be validated in the new areas based on a fee that the customer will pay afterwards. And then if the customer accepts this accuracy that we provide, then the customer can receive results. So the reply is we have tested, we have limitations in rivers, which are related with the satellite frequency data takes. We have opportunity to work there because we have worked, but we have concentrated on lakes, on water bodies that are relatively stable and they don't have a continuous flow. So I think I have tried to reply as thoroughly as possible. Please.
No, I just want to take the opportunity, although we have time for some more in-depth questions, but there already is also one other question from the LinkedIn feedback, which is if it's also applicable in Africa. So how far is the reach, and it's someone watching from Algeria that has some interest in where can we find and how can we use?
So the project has the experimentation lakes reservoirs that we have used are located in Greece, north, central and south, located in Spain, also in dry areas, and they are located in North Italy, in Germany, and in Finland. So from that point of view, we have distribution also to semi-arid areas. I don't know if your area is considered arid or semi-arid. And we have different cases in delivering our services. One case is you take for granted what we tell you as accuracy is true for your area and you use it. The other case is you have some calibration data and you send us and we calibrate the service for your area, which is feasible, and then we provide you the accuracy results and you use it. So this means that we have built something which is within European continent, has also the features of a possible bioclimatic zone that it is out of Europe, and we can also adapt because the processes are based on the physics of interaction of light with water and these substances. So this means that we have not built models that cannot be transferred elsewhere. So this is the best reply.
Thank you. That were the questions from the online audience. So let's continue.
Thank you very much. Matteo.
Thank you both. So the last two things that I would like to show to you is the alerts configuration and also the report generator. Let's start with the alerts configuration. Since WQeMS is not a system to detect this contamination event, we give the possibility to the end user to configure this alert configuration based on the value measured by our platform. In particular, when the user click on go to alert configuration, here a user can indicate a name for the alert configuration, can select a water body, let's say Polypidos again, that for which you would like to generate this alert configuration, this Polypidos, and then he can add one or more rules. Which are the rules? If I click here on add rules, I can select a parameters from one that the WQeMS monitor. Why we see only here 4 parameters? Because here the user can see the parameters that he is continuous monitoring on the Polypidos water body, because only in this way WQeMS is able to get the parameter and to compare with the threshold specified by the user. So let's say, for example, the turbidity. Here we have a lot of statistical value of the turbidity, the max value of turbidity, the mean spatial value of turbidity, and so on. Let's say that we would like to apply a rule on the mean spatial value of turbidity, then a relationship between less than, greater than. What means this? For example, let's say greater than, and then we can select a threshold by swap up this button. So in this case, the user say to the WQeMS platform, please notify me when the mean spatial value of turbidity is greater than this threshold. So this is the meaning of the rule that the user can add. And the user can add one or more rule, also in other different parameters. Let's say the sea surface temperature, the median value, let's say between. And then here the user select the range of interest. Here, the user say to WQeMS, please notify me when the median value of sea surface temperature for the Polypidos water body is between this value and also this value. So this is the meaning of the rule. As you can see, we can add one or more rule on different parameters here, for example, less than, again, and so on. Once the user do that, he can select also the crowdsourcing alerts. As I said before, these are the category that of the crowdsourcing alerts that is able to detect the uncommon turbidity, the water quality, water extent, and so on. So a user could also indicate that he would like to be notified when one of these crowdsourcing alerts occurred. For example, one uncommon turbidity occurred, is detected. And then he will be notified if, for example, a user by using the mobile app send an alert to WQeMS with the category uncommon turbidity, or if the algorithms from Twitter detect a contamination event on that specific category, with respect always on the Polypidos water body. So a crowdsourcing alerts referred to the Polypidos water body, because the user here, I remember that selected the Polypidos. Then finally, the user should also indicate the notification methods through which he would like to be notified when one or more rules, here or this one, occurred. So when, for example, the mean area flood segments is less than this value. So in order to do that, the user can click on the notification button. The type of notification are two. A user can select to be notified via email, and then he indicates the email that he would like to be notified, but also can be notified by an HTTP post request. For example, let's say that a user have a DSS that exposes an HTTP post endpoint. Then he can select here the post request, and here he can indicate the HTTP endpoint on which he would like to receive this type of notification. A user can add one or more notification method, also the same type. For example, he can indicate here 2 emails and so on. And then when he finishes, he can click on the create button, and the new configuration alerts is created. So here, when the user created this notification, this configuration of the alerts, he can click on this button, alerts configuration, and the list of the configured alerts appears to the end user. So all the configuration alerts created until now by the user are listed in this section. You can see here the title that the user given to the alert configuration. When he created the alert configuration, he can delete this alert configuration. Then he will not receive yet notification about this alert configuration, or you can see also the details here. Let's wait a couple of seconds in order to load. Okay, you can see this alert configuration refers to the Polypidos water body. You can see the image here, but also the title here. And then the rules that the user specify, in this case, the max value of sea surface temperature greater than this value, the max value of turbidity, this value, and so on. The notification methods that the user select before. In this case, he would like to be notified via email to this email, and via HTTP post request to this endpoint. Let's see an example of the notification method here. Sorry, I can open this one. This is an example. So when a rule occurred, then a user will receive an email, and this is the email that the user can receive. The email say you have a new alert generated by your alert configuration, and here there is the title of the alert configuration that the user indicated before. And here the water body interested in this alert configuration, that is in this case it's Ebenstock, that is a German lake. And here the reason why this alert occurred. And this alert occurred because a rule specified by the user, in this case, the user would like to be notified if the value of turbidity is greater than 1.76 and so on. And a data products generated by the service line water quality turbidity, in this case, detect that the mean spatial value of turbidity is 2, that is greater than the threshold specified by the user. Then the user receives this email, this alert notification, and the user can create one or more alert configurations. Then the mail invites also the user to visit the data products generated by clicking here that redirect the user to the file server, or by clicking here that redirect the user to the map and data navigator that I showed you before, in order to visualize this data product on the map. These are for the alerts configuration. So a user can create alerts configuration based, for example, some threshold and dangerous threshold about turbidity, but not only, also about oil spill and other parameters, sea surface temperature, chlorophyll A, and so on. The last thing, I come back to the portal now, and come back to the home page, to the portal. The last thing that I would like to show to you is the report. So the user can also generate reports about a specific water body. And in order to do that, you click on here, on the reports section. Again, the same description of the components with the screenshot and so on, and the button to access to the report generator. The report generator is this page of the portal. In this page, the user can select the water body for which he would like to receive the report, let's say Polypidos again. And then he can select one or more parameter for which he would like to receive the report. For example, let's say flood, muddy water, oil spill, but also turbidity, sea surface temperature, and so on. And then the user selects also the period for which he would like to receive the report. Let's say, for example, I would like to receive the report for 2022, for example, here. So I select 1 January 2022 and also this one, 2022, December 21, okay. And then the user should also indicate the email to which the user would like to receive this report, because the report is a PDF that is sent to the user by an email. Here, for example, I can select my email and I click on submit. Let's wait a couple of seconds in order to be generated the report. Now the system, okay, now the system has generated the report and the report will be sent to the specified email shortly. And in a few seconds, I will receive the mail about the report. If I go here, okay, now I will receive the mail. You can see here the email of the report. I open the mail. You can see the overview of the report because I selected the polyvidous water body for that specific period. And then attached, you can find the PDF. If I open the PDF, can you see the PDF in the screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So here there is the PDF, the report generated by WQeMS, which with some statistical values here referred to the parameters that the user select in the request. In this case, plume event, muddy water, oil spill, but also turbidity with some statistical value, the average time on the period specified by the user. And then also some chart about that specific parameter. You can see here the chart with the date covered by the period specified by the user. And this is the report. Of course, the report could be downloaded and so on. And yeah, that's all also for the report. I finish my presentation. I hope that all the components are being presented to you. Also the service lines. We have also some additional buttons here. For example, about WQeMS, you can reach the official website of WQeMS, but also the GEOS, because we have also an integration with GEOS. We have done an integration with GEOS that is able to visualize the data products generated by the system on its platform. The training section that, as I said before, the training is a platform that could help you to understand which are the functionalities and to keep familiarity with the terminology used by our system. Then also the data access, in which the user can visualize all the method of access to the data that we said before. As you can see, map and data, catalog, crowdsourcing dashboard. So all the components that I showed to you before. If I click here, I again redirect to the same page.
Let us move on to the next part, Matteo.
Yeah.
Conclude.
Yeah. Yeah, so I leave the floor to George.
Okay,
For the next
thanks.
Give me a moment, George.
Yes,
one
sure.
moment.
Go.
Naomi, do we have any questions?
Yeah, there is some questions.
Sorry, my mouse was walking. We have one question, and already you're probably still going to talk about it, but could you please talk about how a user can access the platform and how much it costs and all these more practical things, if it's free or partially, and yeah, will everyone have access to the report and data generated from the question?
So if you enter the site, and the site is WQeMS.eu, and you go to services, can you go to services? Yes, thank you. Scroll down a bit. Service schemas, can you press there? So this is our first, let's say, approach. We are now in the process of till September to finalize the business plan is ready. This has to be approved by the European Union. We have the meeting next month. So towards the beginning of autumn, you can be able to use the service, and the costs are going to be, let's say, announced at that time. I think if you go to the service level agreement, Matteo, you will find more information exactly on the services. We are apologizing at the end of this scroll is there is 3 lines with a typo. I mean, product generated after the end of the project. There is missing some part, but we are going to update it today. It was our task. Anyway, you can find more information. The story is that we are going in business, most probably beginning of September. We have now a period where we finalize the business plans, the memorandum of understandings. We are in contact with the commission, with the services. So it's already online, so you can check it as a demo. So on the site of WQeMS, if you go to the first page, Matteo.
Yes, I have sent also the link of this page in the chat.
Excellent. Can you go to home?
Yes.
Either here, scroll a bit down. Here, you have on the left-hand side, you have some videos to assist you. On the right-hand side, you have a survey, so to tell us how you feel about it. In fact, George is going to speak now. In the middle with the green button, this is the service that Matteo was describing. And exactly beneath it, it's the button for the e-training for capacity building, which George will speak about. So replies that we will have either on fees or per item. It could be a freemium version, so we have some products for free and some for paid, but this will be announced coming later on this site later on. And everyone has access to the report. Not everyone. It is a session management, so the customer that pays has access to the report generated by him or her. So the reports are generated for the person generating the reports. They're not visible to anybody else. Whatever you see here is as a demo. And on the products that we have generated in the past within the project, when the commission says these have to be free because European Union has paid for that. So after that, the customer pays, the customer receives. I hope I have replied to my best possible way. Is there any other question? So please.
Not at the moment. No.
Okay, great, Monica. I'm glad that it was enough. So, George, can you please continue?
Yes, I will start. I will start sharing my screen now. Please confirm that you can hear me well.
We can hear you well, but we cannot see your screen.
No, it's not yet there, but it's coming. And as we start, so now you should be able to see my screen as well.
No.
No?
No.
Should be.
Nope.
Wait.
If you have the presentation that you have sent me, I can share for you.
Yeah, but it was shared now. Let me try as a window.
I'm saying that because you said
now
that Cyprus was affected by a problem in the internet.
Yes, but this must be a different thing now. Can you see it now?
No.
No. All right. Then, Ioanni, can you share?
Give me a moment. I have to.
If you want, I can.
This is a strange thing, but until we share, let me say that you have seen all these different functionalities. It's a complete platform, as you have seen. It does what it promises doing, and you used a lot of mental power, I guess, in order to follow all these slides and all these functionalities. I will try now to reduce the level of mental power that you need for the last minutes of this webinar. Will not go that technical now.
So let's start here. Yeah.
Yes. So the
can
first
you see my
thing
screen? I'm sorry to ask because I don't know what you see.
Yes, I at least can see.
Please.
So the first thing is that we need your help. We have developed as a project all these things. We of course we used feedback from colleagues of yours, from stakeholders in general, users and policymakers and everybody. We have done our best to have these services developed for the users. However, if we need more feedback from you now that everything is ready and it's complete and you can access it using the test accounts, until we manage to also have the pricing, as was asked before, please go to this QR code or directly to the link there. Matteo, thanks for putting it also in the chat. And you can give us responses to a survey. It's not a difficult survey. We ask you how you feel about each part of this of the WQeMS services, and how you feel about also you can give us information about your pricing, your budgets, and how you can use this service in practice, because we know that it's gonna be useful. I will not open the survey now because it's better if we finish on time, but please, I leave it here on purpose so that you can scan it at least with your camera, and you do it on your time. It's easy questions. It's not very short. I mean, it will take 10 minutes of your time. As much as possible, please give us your feedback.
You may by replying to it, omit some question. It's not necessary that you reply to everything.
They are not mandatory. Anything is going to be useful for us now. Next slide, please. So we understand that not everybody is familiar with everything that you heard. Even for me, I'm part of this work for 2 years, and I'm still learning every time I hear to the presentations. And because we understand that it's not something that people will be able to learn in one day, we have developed some training platform in order to help you sustain this service for your organizations. So one thing is that we have developed something, we have it. Second thing is that we are doing this work with you so that you know how to use it. But third thing is that you have it continuously. Let's go to the next slide. And one more, please. Since there are multiple levels of knowledge that you need to cover in order to be able to really adopt these services. There are people that are not aware of Copernicus program, or of what data it provides, or what services it provides. We understand this need, and we provide the first module in our training service, so that you get familiar with this, with the Copernicus program data and services. The next is the technologies that we are using and the technical aspects behind them. The background we give in module 2. And if you are not familiar, let's say, with spectra from the Earth, remote sensing, even classification and clustering of images, etc., you can follow module 2. It's there, open, it's free. Everything here is going to be provided for free and open. And you get the background you need in order to understand how to use the services then. Module 3 then focuses exactly on what you have seen before from Matteo. But it explains also the theory behind each of these services, not in like in big books. It's a presentation like training that it gives you an idea of what each service is about, and the background that you need to have in order to understand and interpret the results. And then module 4, you can actually go back to what you have seen in this hour and run the services on your own time by looking at the video as well. Next slide, please. One more thing is that not everybody needs to go through the whole of the training material. It's a lot. So we have a questionnaire at the beginning, a pre-assessment questionnaire, as we call it, where we'll record your profile. And depending on your answers, we make a score of your profile, and we give you a suggestion of what of the modules and units you should be using in order to cover your needs. So if you are not familiar with the backgrounds with the Copernicus, etc., you go for the full range training. Everything is useful for you. If you are familiar with the background, either Copernicus or also the technologies, then we tell you you can skip modules 1 and 2 or just go through them quickly and focus on modules 3 and 4. Next slide, please. And then if you just want to get familiar with the services, you're not really into using them in the next month, we have another suggestion for you, that you follow some of the background and some of the units in the modules 3 and 4. And of course, for academia people and industry people, the needs are different. If you're from academia, you might need to focus more on the module 2 and the background technologies, so that you go back in your research and develop even more for that. And the industry part, you might not be, if you're coming from the industry, you need to see what services we provide, and you can also contribute. After the end of this project, there is a platform there with some services integrated. It is implemented, it is developed in a way to be extendable. So you can conduct the partnership and develop for us as well. Next slides. This is an example of how the feedback looks like after you complete the assessment of your profile. We can skip this for now. Yeah, this is an important. So you can scan again this or go through the platform that Matteo showed before for the training service. It's simple URL, training.wqems.eu. I repeat that it's for free, but you need to create an account. You see the red rectangle at the bottom right of the page. You create your own account, and this is because we need to help you through the process and keep your session so that you come back and continue from where you left. It's not a training that you can finish in 1 hour or even in a day. You can go to the course, to the catalog of the courses after you log in. And there are also localized versions in some languages, but not complete versions. So if you are familiar with the English language, you might find it more straightforward. Next slide, please. And this is the initial assessment questionnaire that I mentioned. It's the first activity. The navigation is simple. The content is on the right. The navigation bar is on the left. Then you can go to any part of the course you would like. Yes, next slide. So this is an example of how the theory, the reading material looks like. It's all consistent, all following the same format. This is the example from explaining what the land-water transition zone change detection is. And the next slides show examples of external material. So we integrate here even material from the Copernicus courses, because we don't want to redevelop, to reinvent the wheel. We have the capacity to integrate material. And then we also, in order to help you comprehend what you read and what you use as reading material, we have developed some interactive assessment exercises. It's like dragging and dropping in the empty spaces, responding to quizzes, multiple choice, single choice quizzes, true, false. Even with images, drag and drop images, we can go to the next. And this is there because if you want to take it seriously and deploy these systems in your everyday work, it will help you really be able to understand what you are reading. And finally, we have also feedback collected. We integrate again a questionnaire in the platform, in the training platform, where you can give us feedback at the end. This is examples of profiles of people with the pre-assessment questionnaire. You see, most of them are from utilities, water organizations, but also from policymakers and academia. We can go to the next.
I will go a little bit farther away so that the people
Yes.
can discuss and give us feedback, because time is pressing. Okay.
So the important is that the platform now is free of for your access. Training www.wqems.eu. We have your back, so we are collecting statistics of everything so that we fix what you want at the end. We will consider your feedback. Please take your time to see the material, read, take the assessments, and then feel confident to use what Matteo showed earlier. We can stop so that you have time for discussion as well.
Perfect. And for those having questions or anything, please put them in the chat and we can take them up. In the time being, I will start with the closure so we have a bit of time for people to still. I don't see any open questions at the moment, so I will close the session with some extra information about the working group Human Capital and the webinar series, so you can still also join in at a later moment again to keep learning. What we do with the working group Human Capital is to focus indeed on the human side of working in the water sector and supporting the human development in it, so creating the skills, the knowledge, the competences, and leadership development in a human-centered approach. We do that as a working group within Water Europe, focusing on the different elements that, in our opinion, are needed to have this more human-centered approach. And we can look into education, augmented collaboration, stakeholder, sectoral talent attraction. I'm sorry about my breath. It's still a bit weak. A network of networks and inclusion of social sciences into the water sector as well. This webinar series has been kicked off today. We're really happy about that because this is the year of skills created by the European Commission, and we really also would like to support it by creating a year of water skills as well. So with this session today, we open the webinar series, and we hope to come back to you every quarter with a new and innovative training session to keep on learning all together. So far, we have received questions about learning more about citizen science and citizen engagement in water projects, as well as the impact of personal and professional skills. How can we use them better, and how can we integrate them better into the water sector? So you're invited as well to let us know what you need for skills development or for these webinar series, what would be of your interest. Maybe you have something to offer as a training or as an idea. Please do contact us and follow us and participate in the next one as well. You're most welcome to. So you're happy to check out the working group Human Capital from within Water Europe. We have different development programs and projects and activities. Yeah, so keep an eye on what we do. And we have 2 minutes on the clock, and I always try to be as punctual, especially with webinars. It's very good to keep track. I see a hand of Johannes for some feedback.
Yeah, I want first to thank all participants that took the time and the 2 hours to be with us. It's very important for us, whatever we have produced, and it is big, to reach to the people that they might be needing it. And a great thanks also to Naomi and Water Europe. They are offering us a great platform. We have been in their events, and we are grateful that we, through Water Europe, Naomi, Andrea, and all the other colleagues, Joanna, we can reach so many people at the same time, and we can liaise, and we can make our business and your business even better. So thank you.
Thank you so much for these final words as well. And I think with 1 minute on the clock left, I think this is a perfect timing of our webinar series. And I thank you all indeed for joining us for this first webinar. And I hope I can invite you to many more to come. Let's keep developing and get this human-centered approach living in the water sector. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.